Hello. I'm out in the middle of the desert, mid-run, and just a couple weeks ago I ran my first trail race, the Saguaro Half Marathon by Vacation Races, and today we're going to talk about that. So first of all, I love running, all running, whether it's on the pavement, in the sand, but especially out here on the trail in the desert. Something about it just hits different. I love running up the hills, running down the hills, tiptoeing over the rocks, the technical sections, and it just feels so much more fun. I feel like I can be much more connected with nature. So a little bit about my history with running. I always ran. I loved running when I was a kid. Tag was my favorite game on the playground because I could just run for days. I was one of the fastest kids on the playground. But even through middle school and high school, I always ran, and it's really windy. Although I loved running through high school, I didn't do track or field or any kind of sports really. My mind was on skateboarding at the time, but I loved running. Every time there was a fun run, I would always sign up for it the day before. I never trained for anything. It always came easy to me. I come from a family of runners, so it always came easy to me. I sign up for a half marathon every year, and that was like a big thing, and it always felt somewhat easy. A challenge, never training for it, but I always finished with a good time. Actually, to this date, some of my personal bests, but that's 16, 17-year-old me. Getting close to there though. But back to the story. It wasn't until about just over a year ago I started actually putting time into running, because I realized how much I actually loved it once I started doing it more consistently. Just the feeling that comes with the waves, going into adulthood, it always gone into waves of running consistently, getting that good feeling, that runner's high every day. That good feeling comes with me feeling healthier and more awake, have more energy throughout the day, and then not running. Just all that goes away, and then I come out feeling like, why do I ever even stop? There's no reason to stop. I love it. It makes me feel good. Yeah. So ever since I came to this big realization, I've been on a running tear. Consistently ran all last year, which is something that I haven't been consistent at ever. I always ran for short bursts of consistency and never stuck with it, but I've actually kept consistent, and that led me to sign up for my first marathon. You can see the previous video for that story. And although the marathon was all road and it was my first marathon, so so it was a big deal to me, but something about running out here in the wilderness on trails hits so much different. It's what I've come to love doing, and it's really something I haven't really even been a part of my thought process throughout my whole running life. So this brought me to discover Vacation Races. I was gifted a sign up for Vacation Races Zion at Night Half Marathon, and this was a big deal for me because looking into all the other runs that Vacation Races does really got me excited. I saw that Saguaro Half Marathon, but at the time they were on their first event and it was happening that week, so I couldn't sign up. It was sold out and COVID was happening, so everything was super limited and restricted. But that got me really excited. I was saying, wow, I had no idea this whole trail running world existed to the extent that it does. But after being gifted the sign up for the Zion at Night Half Marathon, looking into it, I saw that the Saguaro Half Marathon in 2022 was coming up, and I had that in my sight. I looked at the course. I know the area. I've been there tons of times, and it would be my very first official trail race. Now, looking into what vacation races was all about, it really appealed to me. Being an outdoorsy type person, I loved everything that they stood for environmentally, and being zero waste events, or as close to zero as possible. It really blew me away. If you're interested in learning about that, I 100% recommend the Vacation Races and Friends podcast to learn more about that, and find a race near you. Totally recommend it. But vacation race event, this would be my very first vacation race event, since I would be preparing for the Vacation Races Zion at Night Half Marathon in May. So I wanted to experience what they're all about, in addition to just wanting to participate in a running event, trail running event. Now, first of all, I'm completely blown away by every aspect of vacation races. Everything leading up to it, the information was all there, and their planning, and also like I mentioned before, their podcast is very useful. Vacation Races Events podcast. When they have an event coming up, they'll do a podcast, just giving you all the information you need to know about the podcast, little things about the area, information on how everything's going to work out, anything that changes, who should you talk to if you need any support or have any questions about anything technical. It's really great. 100% recommended if you're interested. But completely blown away about everything about the organization. The expo was awesome. Super cool merch, which I'll get to later. And just an overall amazing event. Now, leading up to this event, majority of my training happened out here on the trail, out here in the desert, as well as the marathon. I did probably about half my training out here in the desert, running hills. Like I mentioned in the previous video, I felt really good and prepared running up those hills, while I saw other runners drop left and right around me. A little bit of an ego boost. I felt pretty good, but yeah. So leading up to this, I pretty much exclusively ran out here on the trails. One of the things I love about trail running is it is very diverse, as diverse as you can have in an environment, but very diverse in the things that you come across. There's always going to be elevation change. That's kind of the name of the game. Running up hills, running down hills, tiptoeing over rocks and technical sections, sand, running in wash basins, and dodging cactus, and on narrow trails, the occasional slip and fall, something to be aware of. But overall, it's super exciting to me. I love the adrenaline rush you get from taking a hill, running down it, and technical sections, the challenge of running up hills. So this brings me to the actual race day. Getting to the event, there was a bit of a traffic jam, so I would recommend, like I mentioned before, listening to the podcast. They actually mentioned that traffic is an issue in the podcast, the Saguaro Half Marathon podcast, because they had shut down the route to one-way traffic, so it was only one lane. So I should have woke up a little bit earlier, but I showed up right on time to get parking. get to the expo and get in my race queue. I put my projected time at about 2:20, I believe. I don't remember. I was feeling a little bit reeling myself in from the marathon. I knew I was in good running shape, but I had taken a little bit of a break, and I wasn't running the insane miles I was running leading up to my first marathon, but I was still keeping my legs active and running. So I was a little hesitant to put my projected finish time faster, which is the moral of my whole story here so far, but we'll get to that later. Got in my race queue. We lined up, national anthem. Everyone was hyped, and shuffled on to the starting line. Now, getting closer to the starting line, you listen to the announcer. Her name's Colleen. She's also the host of the Vacation Races and Friends podcast. Also, she's super funny, so if you just want to hear people talk about running and nerd out about courses and things like that, here's like the 5th shout out. But yeah, we shuffled to the starting line and got on with our race. The first half of the course was all paved. Beautiful views out in near the Saguaro National Park, and the sun hadn't come up, risen over mountain on the east side of us, so it was nice and cool, which is always good news here in Arizona. And the course was pretty well thought out, like that. The whole first half was all paved. We got a lane of the road that goes through the park until it gets to the single track, which is pretty well thought out if you think about it. You know, we get to the single track, the crowd is a lot more thinned out, and you're not dealing with your accordion that I'll talk about later. But I spent that whole time passing people. You know, yet again, I'm just doubting myself and my abilities, and not thinking, just trying to hold myself back. So I should learn my lesson by now, but that remains to be seen. Anyway, just the views and everything were just so stunning. It's always nice to run on pavement. Like I said, I love trail running, but pavement running is always nice. You don't have to watch your feet in every step and make sure you're not tripping, which is fun, but it's sometimes, in that case, it was really nice so you could take in all the views as the sun rose, as the Arizona sun rose, and we all had a beautiful morning. So in addition to the first half being all paved, it was almost all uphill. I'll put the elevation map somewhere right here, but miles, I think it must have started at like mile 2, just over mile 1, all the way up to like mile 6, just about, maybe just before mile 6, was all uphill. Some of it was very gradual, but there was some steep hills up in there. And yet again, not to brag too much, but I spent that whole time, you know, starting with my group, passing people, so that's more on me than anything. But also running up the hills, I still felt really good. There was one hill that was super long. You know, you could see how long it was, really long and straight, and I definitely paced myself up it, but I was proud of myself for never stopping, never walking, and that was the highest point of the course. And after a majority of the incline on the paved section came to an end. The road, or the course, veered off into one of the trails. Here's where we started the big accordion section, where you got, you know, everybody going, it was slightly uphill, which meant some people started walking. Then you got a line of people, came down to a single lane, single track trail. So everybody's kind of piles up behind the slower person, slower person gets over or a faster person finds an opportunity to pass, you know, about 4 or 5 other people try to jump right in there. But no disrespect to anybody that walks or is a little bit slower. It's just the name of the game when you're running a single track. And you know, we're all out there having fun. There's no beef or anything. And the course really became the main course meal of the whole race. Just running through the desert, you know, not too worried about pace and my speed, although, you know, not completely dismissing it, but really taking the time as the sun rising over in the valley, really taking the time to take everything in. You know, this is such a beautiful place out here with all these people that love running, traveled many miles to be there to experience the desert that I get to live in every day, that maybe some people don't get to experience all that often. And it was really a great experience. Running on the single track, super fun. You got rocks and cactus left and right. If you don't pass the right section, you might hurl yourself into a cactus. Thankfully, didn't see any of that. Don't know if there was any, but something to definitely be aware of out here in the desert is every plant wants to poke you. Every plant is sharp. So definitely something to be aware of. The trail mostly became very fun because it became these rolling hills, dipping in and out of washes. Super fun. Just experiencing that accordion effect again, you know, piled up behind a slower runner until you find a place to pass, or the slower runner allows people to pass. Super fun either way. Also, a super cool thing about vacation races is they are 0 cup events. So you either have to bring your own hydration system, water bottle or hydration pack, or you can add on to your race fee. Your entry fee is, they have these collapsible cups by Nathan. Super light. They basically weigh nothing, and I thought it was really cool. I used it maybe like twice to get the electrolyte drink, and then I just shoved it in my pocket. Collapses, shoved it in my pocket. Super cool. And then yeah, other than that, I carried my own water in my hydration pack and used one of my water bottles in my vest to carry electrolytes with me. Super cool event. Their hydration stations and aid stations, super cool. Something different about, you know, typical races. You go by a hydration station and you just see 10,000 cups laying all over the place, which was a sight to see. Just some water spigots or some jugs with the electrolyte drink, people running, filling them up, and just run by. You know, getting into the final third of the race, I was just blown away by everything. Just the people running, the beautiful environment. Even though I'm from here in the desert, see these plants every day, see these amazing Arizona sunrises. I was gonna say every day, but that would be a lie. And even being in that area, having run those trails, having mountain biked on those trails, hiked those trails before, something about it was just super cool, just to be a part of the whole event and around all these people. But definitely getting into the final third of the race, the final section, I had not really paid attention to my pace since we got off the pavement, and I was just I was actually pushing myself, which I'm really proud of, because I was finding myself passing a lot of people, and you know, I probably would have got a better time if I just had some faith in myself and had some confidence in myself and put my projected finish time at a faster time. But that's beside the point. I still felt really good passing people and then hearing them run behind me and then feeling, okay, I passed them, I can't slow down now. So keeping my pace up like that throughout really helped me pick up the pace. But the trail was super fun. Rolling hills was most of it, going in and out of washes, so it was like a good mix of like technical downhill and some little short bursts of climbs. It was super fun on top of, you know, running, weaving in and out of all these cholla cactuses and cacti, and just everything about it was beautiful. Coming to the end of the race, the last mile or so was paved, which is a nice, I guess, finisher. You can finish nice and fast. On a wide trail, you don't have to worry about passing anybody right at the end. You know, starting to check my pace then, I was like, whoa, that's way faster than I would have thought. What do you know? And then, you know, passing by my dad, my younger cousin, giving him a high five. Always a great morale booster. Seeing everybody cheering at near the finish line, and crossing that finish line. Crossing that finish line and seeing my time was just another. You know, I say I'm surprised, but I shouldn't be surprised at this point. I just need to have more faith in myself. But I'm just overall impressed by the whole event, and I can't wait to participate in more Vacation Races events. So far, I'm signed up for the Zion at Night Half Marathon and the Cedar Breaks at Night Half Marathon in Utah. I signed up for those a while ago. I signed up for the Saguaro Half Marathon last minute, so I'm really excited about those. I got a taste of what Vacation Races is really all about, and I could not be happier. Well done to anybody involved in the whole thing. So going through the editing process and working on it, just some closing thoughts. I had a bunch of GoPro footage from the actual race that I accidentally deleted somewhere in this process. I'm learning. Definitely not a mistake I'll make again. Definitely know what I did, and kicking myself a little bit. But as you saw, some of the footage, it was really bouncy. It was just in my vest pocket, so it wasn't secured that well. So I'm not too upset about it, but it just would have added more to the video, some more visuals. I had a lot more from the trail, the actual trail. I had a ton of video, but somewhere in there it got lost. But we're just getting started. I'm only going to be getting better. Definitely not a mistake that I'm going to make again. Thank you for watching the video. Right now it's some B-roll, some full stuff from the clips you saw earlier. And look forward to making more videos. Look forward to the Zion at Night Half Marathon coming up in May. And some things, whatever comes to my mind, I'm going to be trying to incorporate videos and getting more comfortable with filming out in public places, talking to the camera. Like I said, we're just getting started. It's only going to get better. Thank you for anybody who gave me the time to watch.